Then you need 280 grams of pork belly. She's really nice and soft, that's what we want. Welcome back to Bone, Smoke and Sizzle. Today I be making a German sausage, more specific a Münchner, a sausage from Munich. It's a Münchner Weisswurst, so a Munich white sausage, and it's a very traditional sausage in Bavaria. It takes various stages how we make it, so the difficulty is about medium, and I will show you now what I'm using, all the ingredients and all the weights and everything I explain when I measure them and want to start producing them. To make the white sausage, also the Weisswurst, we need lean pork, which is type S2. We need lean beef or veal. The beef should be young beef, or if you don't have it, use normal beef. I use normal beef here, but traditionally it's used with veal. And then I have the meat is R2, so type 2. Then I use pork belly. The pork belly is a mix of type 7 to type 8, so it's the pork belly with the softer fat. Then I use rind, so we need rind for this sausage here. That's the rind which I trimmed off the pork belly on previous sausages, and that needs further processing. I use casings, I need to soak them yet. Those are 30 to 32 mil casings. Then on the spices and herbs we need mace, we need ginger, we need coriander, white pepper. Then I use, you can use normal table salt, but try to use salt without iodine in it. So, but I use rock salt because I just like the flavor of the salt. Then we use fresh parsley, we need an onion, and we need the zest of a lemon. Then the other thing, which maybe sound weird to you, we need a type of phosphate in there. Now, because the sausage should also be fluffy, and it shouldn't rise, the sausage, but it needs to be a bit fluffy, and it helps to bind also on the emulsion in there. So for this one here, because not everybody has diphosphate at home, we use some ingredients which are usually used in the kitchen anyway, and it's baking powder. So here I'll be using just normal baking powder, and the baking powder itself has phosphate in there, which helps to get a binding in the emulsion itself. Anyway, let's get started with the first stage. We need to prepare the rind, also the pork rind. We need to cook this one first, so we need to soft cook the rind, and I will do this now. Let me show you what I'm doing here. For a start, I have heated up the water to 80 degrees, so that's already been hot. That took about a half hour. Now I take the pork rind, and I don't weigh it this time because I need to prepare an emulsion with this one here. So I just take it out from the bags here. I loosen it up a little bit so the pieces are individually, and I will cook them all now. As I say, just cooking in 80 degrees. That's it, I put this in there now. And I leave them in there for about 15, 20, 25 minutes. I see when the skin, when I squeeze the skin and I can break it, then it's soft enough. So you have to play it by ear, 15, 20, 25 minutes. We check again. Once this one is cooked, I'm gonna come back to it and I show you the next thing what I do with this skin. In the meantime, let's prepare the spices. Okay, before we start mixing up the spices, we need to look at the weight of the meat what we have. Now what I'm having here is I'm making 2 kilos, but what you need per kilo, you need 300 grams of R2 beef or veal, then you need 100 gram of S2 pork, so that's lean pork, then you need 280 grams of pork belly type S7 or S8, which is the pork belly with the soft fat, and also what you need is 40 grams of emulsified pork rind, but I'll show you this one a bit later on. So let's start preparing the spices for the weight what you have, and I'll explain you how much spice you need per kilo. The Bavarian Weisswurst or the Munich white sausage, it's a white sausage as it says in the name, so we use table salt. I prefer cooked salt. So the salt we calculate on the amount of meat. So you put in per kilogram meat, you put in 24 grams. I'm making 2 kilo sausage, so I'm adding in 34.5 grams of rock salt. So at 34.5 grams, like I said, the salt you calculate just on the meat, not on the total mass. So excluding the water. And it's 24 grams per kilo. So the salt is done. Now we go over to the herbs and spices. And the herbs and spices now we calculate on the total mass. That means the meat, the rind, the water. Alright, so I got a 2 kilo mass here, and the first thing what I need is white pepper. White pepper we put in 2 grams per kilo, and as I make 2 kilos, I use 4 grams of white pepper. Yep, that was a bit too fast. So I got 4 grams of white pepper here. Then we need mace. Mace we use 1 gram per kilo. I'll be using 2 grams because I'm making 2 kilos. That's 1 gram. It's 2 grams. The other thing is what we need is coriander. Coriander we add a half gram per kilo. I'll be adding 1 gram because I'm making 2 kilos. It's 1 gram of coriander. Then we need some ginger. Ginger we use a half gram per kilo. I'll be adding 1 gram because I'm making 2 kilos. So the other thing what we need to add now is the backpulver, so the baking powder. We need 5 grams per kilo, so I'll be adding into it 10 grams. That's it. So now it's all complete now. That's your spice mix. But we still need some onion. I will chop that now. I get the rind off here and wash the parsley. So let me get this, those other few things ready, and I'll show you the weight, what we need. On the fresh parts, we need onions, also fresh onions, and we use 20 grams per kilo. So I'll be using 40 grams. That's just a bit over 40 grams, so that's good. So I put them aside. And now I prepare the rind and the parsley. Just getting the rind ready. We use fresh lemon zest in here. Get the most flavor out of it. So let's see what we have here. What we need is, we need fresh lemon zest. We need 10 grams per kilo. I need 20 grams. I need to get some more lemon. Okay, I've grated some more lemon. I got now 20 grams of lemon, so you need 10 grams per kilo. And now I need some parsley as well. Put this aside here. What we need also is, we need fresh parsley, and fresh parsley we also need 10 grams per kilo. I'll wash this one quickly and just put it on top of it here. The onions and everything go in here. We don't need to chop them any finer, so that's fine. And let me wash the parsley. Okay, I got the parsley done. What I've done is I trimmed off the stalks here as well. So we need 10 grams per kilo of them. So let's see if I got it right. I need, of course, 20 grams. So let's get some more over here. As you see, I don't chop it down, I leave it coarse because it goes in the blender. A little bit more. So I got 20 grams of parsley here. So now the herbs and spices are ready for it. I will check now the rind, see if it's already soft. If not, we'll need to cook it a little bit longer. And let's see if it's soft enough. Like I said, if not, we cook it a bit longer. It needs to be, when you squeeze the rind, you should be able to split the rind, and it's soft enough. Alright, so let's have a look at it. Okay, let's check the rind out, see if we find one in there. If you got a bag, it's easier to put them in a bag. Here we go. So let's see. Yeah, she's soft. I can break it, you can see. Yeah, she's nice and soft. That's perfect. I will take the rind out now. Put it aside and let it cool down a little bit. Here's now the rind out from the cooker. She's really nice and soft. That's what we want. We need to put this one aside now to let it cool down a little bit. The skin, the rind has cooled down now a little bit. It's still warm. But now I will be mincing it through the 4mm blade. If you got a 2mm blade or a 3mm blade, it's even better. Just get everything out. Okay, that's it. Now I will process this a bit further. So before we do anything else now, we need to wait till the rinds have cooled down. So I put the rinds which went through the mincer, I put them in the fridge so they can cool down. That will probably take an half hour, an hour. They need to be nice and cold. So normally you would let them cool down a little bit in the outside and then put them in the fridge or prepare them the day before, because they need to be nice and cold before we even start to make the sausages. I will be coming back to you once those rinds are cold, and we start the next step. Okay, the rinds have now cooled down, so let's prepare the rest of the meat. We need to mince that meat through the 2 mil or 3 mil blade or 4 mil blade, whatever we have, so the finest blade you have. And when we mince it, we can mince the S2, also the pork, the lean pork and the lean beef or veal together as one, but we keep the pork belly separately. Let's mince the pork and beef together. So that's out. I keep this now separate on one side, and now I mince out the pork belly. Done. Okay, so that's it. So keep the beef and pork belly separate. It's important because for the next stage of processing we need to have them separately. We also need, before we make the emulsion, we need 280 grams of ice or ice water per kilo. I'm using 560 grams here because I'm making 2 kilos. Now the fun part starts, where we start create the emulsion. That means we do a certain process. We need to watch the temperatures, but I will show you when to add ice, the spices and what type and what meat you should add to it during the process. Let's get started. For this step here you could use a Kenwood, anything where you can emulsify the meat. Most important is to watch your temperatures. The first thing what we do is, let's add in the lean meat. So I'll be adding in the pork and the beef. And now we just run it for a few rounds, so it just mixes it up at low speed. Oh, want to plug it in, of course. Okay, so we run it now just a few rounds, like I said before, low speed. That will do. The next step is we add the spices. We don't add the parsley yet. We also add the onion and the lemon rind. So that's in. And we put in about 20% of the ice. That's it. Now what we need to do is we need to run it at high speed and bring it up between 6 and 8 degrees. After that we stop. So let's get going. So we got 7.8 degrees now. What we add now is the rest of the pork belly. And now we bring the temperature at high speed up to 12 to 14 C. So we got 13.8 degrees now. Now we add the rest of the ice. This will bring it down to about 0 to 2 degrees. So the next step on this one here is because the temperature is going down now to 0 to 2 degrees, we need to bring it back up at high speed to 10 degrees. And then we stop, because then we need to add some other stuff to it. The side of it. Give me a second here. We just make sure there's nothing on it now on the side that we keep all the spices down. That's it. Let's check it out. We got 7.2. We reach 10 degrees at the moment. What we add now is, if you remember, we have cooked that pork rind. Pork rind is 40 grams per kilo. Because I'm using 2 kilos, I'm adding in 80 grams. So I cut this one in now at low speed. It's just more or less mix it in quicker. The next step is the parsley. And now I bring it back up at low speed to 12 degrees. Six. Degrees. So if you look at it, that's done. Looking good and smells good. The Weisswurst emulsion is now done, all the ingredients in there, so I will now prepare the filler, and I use the little filler for this one here and start filling the sausages. So that's the next step. So getting the stuff in the filler. Make sure you get the air out. As you can see, the emulsion is really good. get everything in there. Just about. Maybe a bit too much. I need to afterfill it. Let me put this aside here. Close up the filler and start filling the sausages. That's it. My fingers are greasy. So if your fingers are greasy, just use a towel or something to screw it on. Good. Let me clean up here a little bit and then we start filling. So okay, the filler is ready now. Let's get the skin out here. Put 2 fingers in the skin, like if you hold it like this. 1, 2. Can you see that? And now we scoop up some water. So we can rinse the casing from the inside. Once you've done that, bring the nozzle a bit forward here, like I showed you many times before. Because what we want is we want to get just a little bit of grease on the front of it. See, it's coming. Run it back a little bit, that's it. And the grease here, fine, done. And the casing goes on very easy. And look, see what I'm doing here? So you pull out the water. Make a knot in it. I've showed it as making knots before. So let's go, let's start filling them. Fill them medium firm, don't fill them too hard. A bit of air here, so we get a sausage breaker. And the out. As you can hear, the water is heating up again to 80 degrees as well. And that's it. Done. Now, the depends what size you want. Normally they're a bit smaller ones. The Weisswurst are cut smaller, so there's about between 10 and 12 sausages per kilo. Just make them about 10 centimeters long. Make sure you untwist those ones here in the back, because like you need to move that. The twist out if I have any. And twist the last one in so it can't go open. Done. As you can see, those ones look really nice as well. Let me show you, because the water heats up anyway. So let's get the camera a bit closer here. Let's have a look here. You can see really nice sausages. You got the green spots in there from the parsley, beautiful color. Nice emulsion. We cook them now as soon as the water is hot. The water has reached now 80 degrees. So we check this as well, just to be sure. Let's give it a quick check there. Let's have a look there. Yep, that's fine. We'll lift this in there. Now we put those sausages in there. And boil them for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes we take them out, we check it, should be perfectly cooked after that time, and I'll show what it looks like. The other thing what we need to do is now is, let me get us over here, we need to prepare ice water. So once the sausages are cooked, we have to cool them down right away, otherwise they go brown. They need to stay snow white. I will prepare this now, and then once the sausage is cooked I come back and to show you what they look like. During the cooking, ensure that the sausages are always covered with water, with the hot water, so they cook evenly, because they will start floating once they are cooked. So use a wooden spoon or something to move them around a little bit so they're always covered. Or the other option is to, if you got a larger cooking pot, put a plate or something on top of it to push them under the water. So the sausages are cooked now. They've been in there half hour at 75 to 80 degrees. You have to be careful, don't go over 80, otherwise they will burst, because they will go. So let's have a look at it, what they look like. Let's take them out and put them into the ice water right away. So let's get them out there. You have to be quick here. Take a stick, because they are hot. Get them in there. Take one quickly. See what the temperature is. I can see they've reached 73, so there's more than cooked. Let's cut them open. Cool them down quickly. So I'll put this on top of it so they stay down there. I will cut the hot one here now. I have to taste it. The best way to eat the sausage is it's straight from the thing. Beautiful. Really nice. Beautiful bite. Fantastic flavor. So I'll cool them down now, and then I'll show you what they look like once they are cold. In the meantime, I enjoy that sausage here. So just getting cold. That's it. I need a bit more ice. They're still a bit warm. But here you can see with a little bit of trick as well, you can get 28% water in there. Not an issue. The sausage will stay still firm. It's just a method of the process, the way you do it. Anyway, I keep cooling them, and once they're cold, I show you. This is what they look like now when they are cold. You can see beautiful green spots in there. There's the lemon in there. There's the parsley in there. The flavor is really popping in the sausage here. You have also a little bit of a coarse cut of the onion in there, which also gives it a distinctive flavor on it. I will cut one now and show you what it looks like in the inside. There we go. You can see the onion pieces, the parsley. Now you have learned how to make a homemade Bavarian Weisswurst. So Münchner Weisswurst. As a white sausage. It's a bit more work on it to do because you have to cook the rind first and mince the rind, get the meat prepared, all the spices, make the emulsion with it, of course, and stick to the temperatures when you make them. During the cooking, I advise you do not go above 80 degrees, because if you do go above 80 degrees, remember this sausage also has a little bit of baking powder in there instead of the normal phosphate. Baking powder has phosphate in there as well, which helps it, but the whole sausage is under pressure, so ideally keep it anywhere between 75 and 80, and then ensure during the cooking process that the sausages are completely covered. If they're not covered, they also will burst. So that sausage really has a pressure on it during the cooking. And it takes about 30 minutes to reach a core temperature of 70 to 72 if the water temperature is anywhere between 75 and 80. Once the sausage is cold, let it dry off a little bit. Put them in vacuum bags, and they hold somewhere between 2 to 3 weeks in the fridge when they're vacuum sealed. If you don't have a vacuum seal in a machine to cryovac them, I suggest to put them in freezer bags and freeze them, and then defrost them slowly once you want to use them. When you use them, you don't have to fry those sausages. Just put them into hot water, heat them up slowly, and enjoy them with sweet mustard, German sweet mustard for example, some white bread, and a beer, of course, it's part of it. So freeze them if you don't use them within a week, vacuum back them, then they last 2 to 3 weeks. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this one here, another episode how to make sausages from bone, smoke and sizzle. And if you did, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to get reminded when the next videos are coming. And otherwise, I wish you all the best. See you then. Bye bye.